Welcome to another video here at Anne's Touch. And I like this lighting because it's all natural. No ring light. I think I'm convinced. No more ring light. I'm not going to do it. I like it like this. It's very natural. Everything's authentic. Bruising, suntan, all kind of stuff. Glistening gloss, hair, all of that is showing. And I think that's more natural because it's more relatable because I'm not a cartoon. Welcome to welcome to Living with Grace, another video here. And here my name means Grace, and this is a channel where I'm hoping I'm inspiring you and at least giving you some knowledge based off of the experience that I've been going through. I'm not trying to be a news reporter, I'm not trying to be a counselor, I'm not trying to be any sort of litigator or any sort of dictator in your life. I just want to help you with the things that I went through, okay? Whether it be relational, salon, career, friendship, family, things that I'm learning, things I've been through. So hopefully some of my videos have been touching you and that this one touches you. Today we are going to talk about how we see ourselves in terms of the world, how we as women, right? Because I know I have a lot of women here and some men as well, how we see ourselves in the world today and how the world sort of separates us and the things that we were born into, how we need to get out of it. Because when we start thinking better about ourselves, knowing who we are, we tend to, we should stand as an individual first and then collectively in a sense of understanding the direction of where you're going without feud, without fighting, without division. Okay, there's a place for everyone, but we need to know our place. And the reason why I'm holding these two in my hand is because I wanted to at least share with you, and it's not sponsored, the two lip glosses I found from Essence. My God, not lip glosses, lip oils. Hopefully you can see that. Let's see, there we go. Oh, these two I just found them at Shoppers. I'll let you know a little bit more about them. But yeah, so if you are interested in listening or at least joining in the conversation and commenting below and all the stuff on this topic, continue watching. Okay, so now I just got out the shower. So mind you, I'm in my like house dress and it's so comfortable. Thank you to Monroe Steele educating us on some things and some sales and some dupes. Thank you so much, especially in a season where your finances are so important. Yes, I had to show off the hair and we need to put it where it belongs. Okay, so yes, if you guys are interested and you see this gloss, this oil, this juiciness on my lips, check out Essence. They do have this at Shoppers Drug Mart. And I think they had it up for some time, but demographically, you only find it in certain stores. So yeah. All right, so let's make sure this mic is on. Okay, so you know what? For myself, knowing visually that I am a woman, and that I am Black, Afro American, born in Canada, background Trinidadian, Jamaican, going to be 50 soon, and I've experienced so much. And what has been introduced to me and my thoughts of me was taught to me, was shown to me, and also researched by me because that's how I'm searching for my identity and finding out where I belong. And in this world, they will tend to like show us that, you know, social location, you're rich, you're poor, or you're a minority, or you're like an elite, or like, you're a certain race. And so in certain countries and cities and around the world, you belong or you don't belong. And some of these things, majority of these things are taught to us by our family and that conversations by with heartwarm conversations and even passionate conversations that we hear from our loved ones because they endured, right? And people before them have endured. And so this is part of our legacy in regards to our identity and knowing who we are going forward, right? But along the way, there's topics that people don't want to talk about in regards to spirituality and religion and cults and what the enemy has for us, right? And so sometimes people ignore it because they don't have knowledge in it and they're scared, or because they it's a different venture that they feel is not necessary because it's not physical, it's not seen. And so the reason why I'm bringing all these things up because it ties into our identity in regards. Yes, I'm looking at you. I was looking at the murder right now. I'm looking at you. It ties into how we think about ourselves, the information that we're retaining, and how we're learning about it in a truthful manner from the source of the truth, opposed to speaking to scholars and indoctrinate and them indoctrinating us and their level of belief in us taking it on and walking with it in our lives, right? I find that it limits us and it restricts us when we do that. I would agree that yes, in our families, whether they knew right or wrong, learning from them, gleaning from them, finding out why they got the information. Actually, when we're young, we're gleaning from them, right? As we get older, we're finding out for ourselves because we're questioning what they're saying to us because our experience is different from theirs, especially if we're in a different country. And then when we become an adult, we search for ourselves, right? Because we're looking at ourselves in the mirror and we're seeing how people are associating with us or identifying us and addressing us. And we're sort of receiving it or we're not receiving it. But I also believe that in our journey, whether we're young to old and mature and seeking for ourselves, in all that information being taught, retaining, questioning, searching, and seeking and finding, that's our own individual journey. That's a journey that you yourself need to go through, or at least willingly want to, with an open mind of the physical and the spiritual, and finding peace and finding actually your purpose as an individual person. And when you get to that point, you will notice that race doesn't play. Like when you get to that level of thinking where it's like, I know why I'm here on this earth. I understand my purpose. I understand all the stuff that I've been through in my life. I understand how I'm supposed to bless people because I've overcame it because of the source. And people call it different things. I'm gonna get to that later, or maybe might not float. I'll float over that because I want you to watch this video for yourself and take in information that's being told for yourself. I'm not telling anyone. I'm just letting you expand your mind and openly, willingly receive something and continue on from this video. Okay. So it's like when we're seeking and we understand people are treating us a certain way because of our race or our sexual gender or how we identify ourselves and what we're demanding or what they, the vice versa, and sort of being firm about who we are and standing firm with who we are because this is, we believe this and this is how we see ourselves. I believe that we should continue to search because the thing is, there's life and death, right? And there's a spiritual world and there's a physical world. And it's easy to work with the tangible, realistic world. And so when the question of the spirituality comes, nobody wants to deal with it. No one wants to believe it, right? Even though they watch horror films and even though they hear about people talking about this and that happened. And they also entertain spirits by saying, my grandmother said something to me in my dream, or the spirits did this, or the clouds did this because my mom did this. And a lot of things happen and we jump to the spirituality part, but we're not mature in it. But we still rationale and reason and say this makes sense because it's like that. What I'm going to say now is that for your own personal journey and you're really seeking, try to be open and cover yourself with prayer in terms of preparing yourself for the truth, prepare yourself for unknown things and questioning. Do you know what I'm saying? And when you're seeking and finding these things, and it's a spiritual level, it's a spiritual component to how you're going to retain the information or how you're going to receive it, right? Physical is different because then you're seeking and you're asking people and you're asking their opinions and you're asking what they think. So when you pray about something to a higher being, which I believe is God, okay, because he's spiritual, he created everything. So facts on facts on facts on facts, okay? He will download and speak to you, whether through your dreams or even to you subtly or even through a show you're watching. He will speak to you as you're asking genuine questions about that because it's an open doors. He's given us access, but we don't tap in. When you do speak to someone about it, it will confirm what he has told you. It will enlighten what he has given you information in. And as you're seeking the information that he's leading you to find out, he's covering you. He's giving you the information. He's calming your fear because he's with you as you ask these questions because he's going to answer you. Do you know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't want to go through that. I'll say this because I want to wrap this video up. It's like 8 minutes deep, and I just want to tickle your mind in regards to opening that door, being curious, being genuinely curious, especially with what's going on in the world and some things we have no control of, and not limiting ourselves to where the world would say that we're supposed to be. And it'll broaden your mind to give you hope and an expected end from who created you. I'll say this, and I'll end the video by saying this. Try not to limit yourself because it's easier said than done, but I'm going to open up this dialogue and then shift it to where you're going to get your answers from. Try not to limit yourself to the staying poor, staying illiterate, staying ignorant, staying in a place of your mindset's conditioned because they've told you that, or even your family has told you that. Your level of belief is based off of your information, what was told to you. Even renewing your mind based off of your character, You can change. Some people are like, no, I'm like this. This is how my family was. This is how I am. You can change. Change is possible. Even to your last breath, change is possible. And I think changing would be starting with your mind and the way that you think about yourself. And so renewing your mind and finding out facts and truth and digging deep into the reasons why you're here and your purpose and finding your purpose requires you to question God, requires you to ask him genuinely and wait for that answer. But you need to be patient and you need to be truthful in that posture of asking him. It's not a religion, and I'm not preaching to you. I'm just saying because I have sampled it and I am at that place. So that's why I understand when I separate my flesh and I separate my spirit. Like I walk in the spirit first, and my flesh is temporary. So what I do in my flesh is sort of sinful, and God's molding me and making me and changing me because I allow him. It's not a man that's changing me. It's not my kids that are changing me. I willingly want change because I believe that there's better, and he has promised that. So I want to see it. So I obey and I ask him and I pray. Do you know what I'm saying? And I walk in the spirit, understanding that my body will pass because everyone is going to die, but your spirit lives on, and you got to be concerned about where it's going to go. And so when you pray and ask genuinely to find out about that, it will lead you to the spirituality aspect of it. And there's many different spirits that trouble us. There's many different generational curses that we've been familiar with all too long that we need to get out of, not out of, and to be just covered and enjoy our time here in our vessel on this earth as he sees us, not how the world sees us, and not how man sees us, and not how our boss sees us, and not how social society sees us, and not you know what I'm saying, not how the government sees us to condition us and limit us. God says that we are his children, period. And we need to walk in that. So seek him, find out your answers for yourself, because your answer is going to be different from mine. I'm continuing to seek his face. I'm continuing to get answers. I'm continuing to even fall in my face and asking him to help me up. I cannot do it on my own, but I want to know because it's a beautiful place and he wants us to enjoy it here. He does not want us to die and then enjoy it. He wants us to understand our lives here and fulfill certain things before he comes for us. So that I'll leave with. I'll see you in the next video. Hopefully you were touched. Question God. You can question me if you like. But this requires a relationship with him, with God, in Jesus' name. And there's many different gods and many different spirits in this earth, wandering around, walking through people, talking through people. I don't mean to scare you, but if you can watch a horror film, then you can understand what I'm saying. But when you ask him genuinely, he will cover you. There's nothing to be afraid of. Trust me, when I found out, I was like, what? It's a beautiful thing, and it's freeing, and there's peace. And you'll treat people differently because you understand more. He'll give you revelation. It's a relationship with God. And he'll teach you how to have relationships with others. But you know what? First and foremost, seek him. Seek him. I'll see you in the next video.